Oh, dog training is a quality of life thing, especially for those who live with reactive dogs. Having a reactive dog seriously impacts what you can do with your dog, the enjoyment you have when you're out with your dog, and of course the enjoyment that the dog is having. Those of you that have reactive dogs, you'll understand this right away. When you've got a reactive dog, you are vulnerable to the environment. It's like someone who only has a t-shirt to wear. If the weather is perfect and it's mild or warm out, you're going to be okay. If the weather takes a dip, all you have is a t-shirt now. You're stuck. You got to tough it out. When you go walk your reactive dog and your dog isn't trained and you don't have the focus and cooperation that you need, what's going to happen? You see another dog or a moped goes by or a scooter or a skateboard or whatever your dog reacts to, and now you're vulnerable. The trained dog, you have a lot less vulnerability. So it's like being in that t-shirt, but you've got a little windbreaker kind of stuffed up into a pouch and you're ready for the elements. Whatever's going to come your way, you've got something and you can kind of MacGyver it. With our trained dogs, that's what we can do. So the reactive dog is vulnerable. The owner of the reactive dog gets painted into a corner.
We can't be like too close.
So his comfort zone's getting smaller and smaller?
It's getting like worse. Yeah. So it's
yeah.
not improving, which is why I think like I'm getting along every.
Hey, these are my crash test monkeys, Ruby and Lily. Okay, they will sell their souls for a piece of beef liver. So I'm using them as a distraction for Winston. Now, passive distraction is one thing. Passive distraction is a statue of a dog. It's a dog that comes here and just lies down and falls asleep. And that has its value in training. Some dogs need that easier entry point. Some dogs are way more reactive than Winston, and we have to stagger the tension in the training, the distractions in the training. These guys, like Frida, are very active. I'm using the liver to keep their interest in the area, and all he wants is to be invisible right now. Watch what happens if I start dropping liver on his plates. Girls. I can't tell you how many times I get emails where people say, I can only walk him at 5 in the morning or midnight, or I have to send my spouse or my kid down the road to see what's going on outside, if there's the neighbor's dog out, or if there's a lot of kids out on their bicycles, whatever the reactions are. So the reactive dog, like I said, very vulnerable. The owner painted back into a corner, and it becomes a really limiting lifestyle for the owner and the dog. And training can absolutely help with that. And again, always coming back to that quality of life thing. When we get a dog, we have an image in our mind, right? People have a movie reel playing in their mind. I'm gonna get a dog, we're gonna have long walks, whatever the image is that you have of living with a pet, come on, you're blocking my lens, living with a dog. And then all of a sudden you've got this reactive dog, and it's a rude awakening because you're like, well, we can't do any of the things I thought we were gonna do. With training you can. I mean, maybe not every single thing. It depends on the dog, and it also depends on what your expectations are, right? We have to be realistic in what we expect from our dogs. But definitely training is going to open up those doorways, just like it has for this guy. So a big part of reactivity is the dog putting his attention on the wrong thing. And if the dog is not trained to focus on us, we're going to have problems. So I take the time, I develop a bond with the dog. Dog loves to be with me, and I show the dog that when you give me what I want, when you give me behaviors that I ask for, very simple things, but very useful things, cornerstones to our training, then we can have good times together, and it's win-win. Leave it. It's win-win. The reactive dog is the dog that feels insecure more often than not. Winston, sit. So I want the dog to understand security comes from working as part of the team, the collective together. That's how we win. He's not having to fend for himself, those big reactions. So I'm gonna have him walk by Frida now. Heel. Hi, Frida. Hey, Frida. And I'm purposely engaging Frida so she'll come out. Now watch, see where he goes? Good boy, Winnie. Heel. Good. Hey, Frida. Sit. So in the past, he would have just been flying off at her, barking, lunging, growling. His owner said that she was having to walk him super early in the morning, late at night, avoiding certain areas where there were dogs. Now he's immune to it, as long as we're fair in our demands. Watch what he does when I take a step back. See how he's plugged in here? He's ready to go with me. Whereas in the past, he would have been laser pointer focused on her. I've got some footage from our consult that I'll put up where he fixated on dogs. And the reactions were big and easy to provoke. Rita? Rita? You see that? Nice boy. Nice boy. So you see, you teach the dog how to win, the team, the collective, and you encourage the behavior you want and you redirect the stuff you don't. What? What? He's a sweetheart of a dog. Rita. Rita. And he's able to celebrate 5 feet away from her with her carrying on. So she's really just background noise for him now. He's able to loosen up and enjoy himself in the moment, whereas he's not just disconnecting from her and walking away under this cloud and shroud of stress and, you know, like a dark cloud over the dog. It's we're away from that, we can have fun. So he trusts his training right now. It's what's giving him a lot of security. You want to just approach me with her, but to the side where the camera can see her.
Side of
just over there. Leave it. Good boy. Just stay right over there. Do you see where he goes? Did you see what he's telling us? He doesn't want to have an interaction with the dog. And his big reactions were to try and achieve this. If he was a dog that was actively aggressive, that he was combative, he would not be avoiding her now. He would be biding his time and looking for an opening. Just like a dog that sees a piece of chicken on the counter and he's waiting for everyone to leave the kitchen so he can capitalize on the moment. Just bring her back a little to make sure she's in frame. Yeah, like that is good. Okay, so now watch. Frida. Frida. Leave it. Good boy. He just wants to pretend like she's not there, and I've given him the tools to do so. Good boy. He's looking for is an understanding. Is we have to come to terms. I'll leave you alone as long as you leave me alone. Now, in the past, they would have left him alone, but before his training, he would not have left him alone. He would have been carrying on, barking, lunging, growling, snapping, all the things that we see reactive dogs do. The training has given him a system to understand you don't have to do that, and we can still arrive at the end point you're looking for, which is safety. Now, he also wants to deliver, and I want to point out, as much as he wants to deliver, he's working against 2 distractions now, not reacting to the dog and not stepping off the place to go get delivered. And proof that he wants it is if it lands here, he doesn't hesitate. There's some in these here. Okay, yeah, if it lands on the place, he'll take it, he'll gobble it up right away. So there's a want for it, yet when it falls off, it's out of bounds. Winston. Okay. Good. Winnie, please. Nice. Good boy. What a good boy.